So I have a really encouraging message for you. It's to bloom where you are planted in the right season. Now there's two big parts to this. One is to bloom where you're planted, not where you weren't planted. Bloom where you are planted in the right season. And that's because we go through different seasons in life, just like plants go through different seasons. We have summer, spring, fall, and winter. So sometimes you're trying to bloom in spring when you were meant to bloom in winter, or you're trying to bloom in fall when you're meant to bloom in the summer. So that's why it's important to not only bloom where you are planted, but also in the right season. And let me tell you a story to better understand this. So one of my favorite hobbies is gardening, which you probably figured with the plant metaphor and this colorful dress to look like a flower. But my hobby is gardening, or one of my many hobbies is gardening. And I've been gardening consistently probably for the last 3 years. It started with one plant, then it turned into 10 plants, then it turned into 20 plants, then it turned into a whole bunch of crops, vegetables and stuff. So here we are. But last November, I think it was November, December-ish, I planted potatoes. I used some old kitchen potatoes, ones we were gonna cook with, but we didn't. You know, they started getting old, so I grew out the roots from them. Well, they already started growing roots. I just helped the process speed up. Grew out their roots, and then I went and put them in my raised garden bed outside, which has a bunch of dirt and mulch and all other stuff in it, soil amendments. Put in that, watched it for probably about 2 to 3 weeks, and then when I didn't see anything happening, I gave up. I decided these potatoes are not gonna grow. I don't know, I was thinking this was also my first time trying to grow potatoes, so I was pretty confident that nothing would happen. So you can imagine my surprise 2 weeks ago when it's March, and I go outside to clear the dirt to start planting more for the spring season, you know, preparing the ground and stuff, because I knew spring was around the corner. Well, I was pulling up these things that looked like weeds, and when I pulled up one of them, I saw a potato. And I was like, what? Potatoes? And then I remember, it's like, oh my gosh, I planted potatoes. I forgot. I totally forgot. That's how doubtful I was that they were gonna grow, that I completely forgot about them. But this experience turned into realization for me, where it's like, man, I do a lot of things all the time that I hope will take off in the future, that will become successful in the future. But a lot of times I don't see results. And then I just forget about that thing, or I stop doing it and focus on something else. But I realized with this whole potato scenario that I might forget about that thing, but God didn't. Well, I wasn't taking care of these potatoes because I just figured nothing would happen. I didn't water them. I didn't fertilize them. I didn't check on them. I didn't make sure the rabbits got to them because I have a lot of rabbits and foxes out here. I didn't do any of that. And surely enough, they still grew. They sprouted in the right season. They sprouted in the right season. And so I realized, well, I've prayed to God for many things. I've asked him for so many things. I've asked him to open the door here, you know, give an opportunity there, and nothing has happened. But with these potatoes, I realized that it's probably just not my season to come up yet, and that even when I forget about it, even when I have my moments of doubt that I'm working on to stop being doubtful, God is still there. God's still working. He's still watering my ideas, you know, he's still taking care of my roots, making sure that they're growing in the right place. He's still providing the fertilizer to give me that extra boost of strength and confidence when needed. And when I completely forget about the prayers I've asked him for, he still answers them. When I forget about the doors I asked him to open, he's still working to open those doors. He is the master gardener. We were planted in the garden in the beginning. He is the master gardener. And I guess that's one thing I love about gardening now more frequently, is that I get all these revelations about who God is in the garden. Like, I kind of understand what the garden is for, and watching the life cycles of how things grow and how they die away in different seasons, and then some return and then some don't. There's so many stories you can get out of that, so many life experiences that relate to that. And I'm like in this place where I'm watching the seasons in the garden and seeing how they kind of align with my own personal seasons. And the way God is still being the master gardener over me and also all these plants is amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to hop on here with a very quick message about, you know, bloom where you are planted in the right season. Don't rush into things. Sometimes your seed might take a lot longer to grow than other people's seeds. It might require a lot more water, more time to get, you know, its roots adjusted in whatever place you're at right now. But over time, when the season is right, you will bloom. You will bloom. So I hope you guys are enjoying spring. I'm enjoying spring. I hope it stays like spring, because I'm in Georgia, and in Georgia season, it might be spring, It could also turn to winter in a heartbeat. So I'm hoping that we're actually in spring this time and it stays like spring. But yeah, that's just a quick message for you guys. If you love videos like this, please leave a comment so I can make more. Also check out my channel for other vlogs and music, because I'm a singer and songwriter, and I will see you in the next video. So stay blooming wherever you are.